Mike Tyson is absolutely livid with Disney and Hulu and has promised to expose them for the terrible places that they are. And we know that Disney is continuing to engage in all these disgusting acts. And Mike Tyson is here to tell us all about it. So Mike Tyson, Disney-owned Hulu, stole his life story. Boxing legend Mike Tyson has come out swinging, accusing streaming service Hulu of being slave masters and claiming the company stole his life story for a series about his life without paying him or consulting with him to ensure accuracy. So there's a lot of just really horrific stuff that they are doing, and honestly, Mike Tyson, I don't blame him at all for, this is literally his life story that he is talking about here. These are things that they are completely just running off with in their own directions, with their own interpretations and everything else. And I'm sure, with Hulu being such a horrible place and a lot of the content that they make is just absolutely terrible, it wouldn't surprise me if they are, trying to spin a lot of his stuff from his life in their own way and put their own spin on it. And so let's get into this entire story here, because I believe Hulu even clapped back at Mike Tyson. Despite all of this, Tyson posted the accusations on Instagram, attacking Hulu's upcoming limited series about the boxer's life starring Trevante Rhodes. The heavyweight champ says that Hulu stole his life story in a post that he captioned, "Hulu is the streaming version of The Slave Master." And this is something that I really wanted to touch on, is the hypocrisy with all of this, because places like Hulu and Disney, they'll continue to virtue signal and pretend that they really care about minorities and that they want to give minorities their voices and everything else. But at the same time, they want to continue to dictate what minorities can or cannot say. They want to continue to not really give them power. They want to continue to hold all the power themselves, but pretend that they are working in the favor of these different minority groups, which is just a very common tactic among leftists and everything else. But Tyson posted this on Instagram, which is a very crazy accusation. "Don't let Hulu fool you. I don't support their story about my life. It's not 1822. It's 2022. They stole my life story and didn't pay me. To Hulu executives, I'm just an N-word that they can sell on the auction block." So the part that I really want to focus on is it's not 1822, it's 2022. Obviously, he could be talking about a lot of different things there, but obviously he's talking about primarily the change of the times from what, places like America was like in 1822 versus what it's like today in 2022. Now, is that referring to the content that's actually in the film that they came up with? It's definitely possible, I wouldn't be surprised if they are, putting all of their own ridiculous spins on a lot of the stuff and putting their own woke narratives and things that they don't need to. But I'm not entirely sure exactly if that's what he's talking about or if he's referring to the way that they're treating him in today. But Tyson also lashed out at Hulu on Twitter with tweets blasting the streamer for being greedy and insisting that heads will roll over the theft of his life story. Hulu's model of stealing life rights of celebrities is egregiously greedy. Hashtag heads will roll. Hulu stole my story. They're Goliath and I'm David. Heads will roll for this. The boxer has been slamming Hulu over the series since it was announced in February of 2021, The Hollywood Reporter noted. Tyson was seen referring to it as in a since-deleted Instagram post as tone-deaf cultural misappropriation. Yikes. And this is an accusation towards a streaming site that loves to pretend that they are super-duper woke. The producers of the Hulu series defended their project, saying that the series makes no moral judgments about Tyson. It just presents his life as a straight story. Yeah, I don't believe that for a second. I just don't believe it. Anyway, so with Mike Tyson, I don't really blame him for, this is literally his life story. I don't blame him for, bringing these accusations to life, because a lot of the stuff that he's saying here is probably very true. And I would expect that Mike Tyson, being about his life and everything else, he'd probably have a pretty good grasp on, the inaccuracies of that. Probably a lot more than the Hulu showrunners that are continuing to try to virtue signal their way out of this entire mess that Mike Tyson is bringing their way, which is awesome to see. Mike Tyson is going to war with them, and I don't blame him at all. With that being said, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Leave a like, subscribe, and I'll talk to you all in another video very soon.